Jannik Sinner ends the year on a high. He defeats Carlos Alcaraz, not in 3 sets. It was straight sets, and it was a fantastic match against the 2 best players in the world. Jannik Sinner on an indoor hard court is too strong.
That's right, JG, and we've been saying it all along, and there's been many people in our comment section who keep on saying, you're not giving Carlos Alcaraz enough credit, but you got to look who's down the other side of the net, because Jannik Sinner proving himself yet again to be the best indoor hardcourt player on the tour, and he's done it without dropping a set again, and he just seems to be unstoppable.
Yeah, I mean, people probably watching, if you're on YouTube, wondering why me and Ben are together. We are, in fact, in Italy right now, and we was watching the match in a local pub. Quite a few Jannik Sinner fans. It was very funny how biased the commentator was. I know some people say I'm biased towards Jannik Sinner. You should see the commentary on Sky Italia, because them guys are crazily one-sided for Jannik Sinner. Even during the point, they go, no.
Yeah. Every time he misses one, they're like, no. Yeah, it's crazy to see. I wonder if it's the same in Spain, but I'm
not sure.
Maybe that's the next trip. We find out if Spain have biased commentary. I know in the UK they try to be as impartial as possible, but we don't have that much to cheer about over in the UK. We'll try and give them their best. But obviously, Murray has been our best hope of late. Jack Draper injured, so we got not much to cheer about, have we?
No.
But this match, I think it brought everything that we expected, and I was thoroughly entertained.
Well, not the 3 sets.
Yeah,
so we was really convinced that we're going to get 3 sets between these two. It was possible, and there was moments in that match where it looked like Carlos Alcaraz, especially at the start of the second set, spells towards the end of the second set,
early break.
We thought that he was going to be okay, and maybe this was going to be going to 3 sets. But Jannik Sinner, in big moments, what a champion and what a player. Because every time when he was really under pressure, we saw big moments. There was an ace, I think, when he was facing a break point. There was moments at 30-all when he was generating the break point. On the break point, he just really rose his level. And I think the most impressive thing about all of this for me was it could be slightly disappointing for him losing out to that year-end #1 title against Carlos Alcaraz, the head-to-head against Carlos Alcaraz, playing at home in front of the home crowd and the pressures what that brings.
Yeah.
There was several variables here today which I think could have really unsettled most players on the tour. But Jannik Sinner used it as fuel, and he rose to that occasion. And if anything, we saw some of his best tennis we've seen all week. Before coming into this match, we was really torn, thinking that Carlos could maybe win this match. And I don't think that's crazy even to suggest now. It was close. It wasn't a one-sided beatdown from Jannik Sinner.
Yeah.
But I feel with Sinner on an indoor hard court, I just don't know where a loss is going to come.
You have to get the break against him in a set at the end of the set, and that's the hardest part against Jannik Sinner is the end of the set in indoor hard court. If you break him early in the set, even against the #1 player in the world, he's still able to get the break back and still win the set by the end of it. And that's the crazy thing. You watch him play, you watch how well Carlos Alcaraz was playing. He was trying different things all the way throughout the match. And I think maybe his undoing was going to the well too many times with the volleying, the serve volleying, coming to the net. I mean, he was trying to rush the points. He was trying to make Sinner play winners. And he was hitting winners. That was the problem.
Yeah.
Like if you ask one of the best players in the world to play their best tennis and then they succeed, you can't really be too mad because you've sort of asked for it, really.
Yeah, I know you was critical during the match because I had you in my ear, which was a bit frustrating.
Was it?
And you were saying about how Alcaraz was coming to the net too much.
A lot.
But you think that was a reason which was for his downfall or not?
Yeah, it's detriment. I think coming to the net in variety is good, but it wasn't good, just keep coming, because it was working at the start. It was working in the first set. And then he just kept on coming in. I felt like he was sort of either in his own mind, he was running out of options of how to beat him from the baseline, or he just thought, I'm so confident that I can do this at the net that I'm going to rush him, and the next time I'll get him. And it just wasn't working. He was getting maybe 1 out of every 3, and that's not enough.
But you're talking about a player who has been the most successful player against Jannik Sinner. So he clearly has a game plan, and I think that it is good keep coming to the net against against Jannik Sinner in spells, and that's what he's done successfully in the past. Let's just go back to this year. I've got this tweet here, which is good, and that is Alcaraz's losses so far this year: Djokovic, Lehechka, Draper, Goffin, Rune, Sinner, Norrie, and Sinner's losses this year: Alcaraz times 4. Yeah. So Alcaraz knows how to beat him. Bublik, Griekspoor. The end. Yeah. So it highlights a lot that Jannik Sinner is very close to monopolizing the tour completely. And if he can work out Carlos Alcaraz and stop him charging the net and putting pressure on him, because trading at the baseline with the power and the angles which Jannik Sinner has, I think anyone can do it at the moment. But if he works him out, Jannik Sinner, and he can translate a victory like this onto, say, a clay court, then I honestly think we are in for a real dangerous time.
I think that's where the real interesting thing in this dynamic comes in, because I know that we're talking about this match almost as if they're equals on this surface. And that's credit to Alcaraz that he has made it seem like they are equals on this surface this year. This is the best we've ever seen him on this surface. We know how good Jannik Sinner is on this surface. But Jannik Sinner has stepped up in 2025 and done it on the clay. Now we've seen Carlos Alcaraz step up and do it on the indoor hard court. Now we're going to see how much they step up again in 2026. The Australian Open. How is Carlos Alcaraz going to fare there? That's another fast court. Could we see another Carlos Alcaraz Jannik Sinner final, but this time at the Australian Open? And will he have improved a little bit more again? Will there be more problems that he shows Jannik Sinner once more, or is Sinner just that dominant on hard court?
Well, they're dominating all the slams, and I don't think there's many better rivalries in tennis than a Jannik Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz. I'm talking about the history of tennis. It's got to be up there as a top 5 rivalry of all time already, and that's only going to become more prominent because for the next 5 years, maybe longer, these two, it's difficult to see anyone toppling them. This is a good start. I like this one because it just shows the dominance of Jannik Sinner doing things that no one's really ever done. And that is since the event's inauguration in 1970, Sinner is the first player to win the ATP Finals without conceding a set in multiple and consecutive years. So no one's done that before. And to show how crazy that is, this is the best players in the world based on that year's performances. And he's not dropping a set.
Because when you see him winning without dropping sets at the Tour Finals, you know that it's possible for him to do potentially the same thing in Grand Slams as well. I'd say arguably Jannik Sinner, the best on fast hard court surfaces, that he is the player to beat at the Australian Open. I don't think anybody can deny that. You've seen his performances, especially last year in the final against someone even like Sasha Zverev. He completely dominated him in the final. And everybody else has to raise their level on that type of surface. But I think that the one person who looks like they could potentially raise the level there is Carlos Alcaraz.
Yeah, and just to highlight more Sinner dominance, this is a good tweet here. I don't know if you want to bring this one up. From Jose Morgado. Well, he's commented on anyway. It's from Felipe A. And it's saying, he isn't only the king of indoors. Sinner's results in the last 24 months are simply historic. Jannik has a 91.6% win percentage since early 2024. Has 131 wins, 12 losses, joining only 6 other legends. Federer, Connors, Board, McEnroe and Lendl and Djokovic, able to win a 91% plus win percentage over 2 years. So he's in that conversation with some of the very best players, some of the most dominant players. Rafael Nadal's not there, but Jannik Sinner is.
That is crazy. And like we see on the screen at the moment, his season this year has been... It's been one of those seasons, despite having that 3-month layoff, it's still been a dominant season, really.
Well, it's got to be his best. I mean, looking at it, Australian Open champion, Rome finalist, Roland Garros finalist, Wimbledon champion, Cincinnati finalist, US Open finalist, Beijing champion, Vienna, Paris, and now the ATP finals. That's 6 titles and 10 finals out of 12 events played. He's not played the same amount as Carlos Alcaraz. I think Alcaraz, 16 or 17 events? Missed 3 months, but was always making finals pretty much. No one was beating him aside from Carlos Alcaraz.
Yeah, I'm so impressed by what he's been able to do, considering the pressure that his mind must have been under. I know that we've obviously had this Djokovic interview, which came out recently, who he was even touching on it, saying there's going to be a cloud over him for the rest of his career, the same way that there will be over Djokovic for the COVID stuff as well. But to be able to deal with that and still play his best tennis and put that to one side, that's the one thing Djokovic respects about him, the fact how he's dealt with it. He doesn't say it's right or if it's wrong or anything. He just says that for a player to be able to have that going on in their life and all the media scrutiny and them to deal with that and still come back. And then he got to the final of Roland Garros and was a point away from winning it. He won Wimbledon. After all of that, it's quite remarkable, really.
Yeah. Looking at this career prize money one, it's quite weird, really. Seeing Djokovic for his 2025 prize money, $5.1 million. Sinner, just in the ATP finals, $5.1 million. And if you add the 6 King Slam as well, he's made some big bucks this year. He's got his own YouTube channel. Yeah. He's so popular here in Italy. Everyone was talking about him constantly. Yeah. We tried getting into a pub. We had to book a table just to see the match. And he's just, even on the adverts, when they're in the changeovers, was watching one and Jannik Sinner pops up. Couldn't really escape him at all today. Neither could Alcaraz.
No, you really couldn't. This is what Carlos Alcaraz had to say after the match. And he's one of those players that you could just tell from the crowd that
crazy reception.
They all just hang around they just want to hear what he has to say.
Well, it's like he'd won. Yeah. I mean, the applause lasted for minutes, and he was just there saying, thank you,
longer than for Jannik Sinner, and he was the person who lost, but he had such gratitude for the crowd, and I think the crowd,
they loved him.
I think they have a little bit of once it's like post-match clarity, where they suddenly come out of their Sinner glazed eyes, where they're like, oh no, I've actually been probably a bit cruel to Alcaraz because I haven't really been cheering for him, but even though I love him, and now we give him all the praise because we actually want to show him, thank you for such an amazing match. Thank you for being this amazing rival to who is our nation's hero at the moment. And if we didn't have him, you wouldn't have these big spectacles. You wouldn't have these big matches. You wouldn't have all the interest in the sport. So it takes 2 to tango, and Carlos Alcaraz is the best dance partner.
Yep, for sure. Let's see what he said. He said, I'm just really happy with the level I played today. I played against someone who hasn't lost a match in an indoor court for 2 years. That shows what a great player you are. You and your team put in great work every time. You come back even stronger after every loss. You don't have many, but you come back stronger. Well deserved. I want to say it's great. It is a great year for you. It's time to rest. Hopefully, you're going to be ready for next year because I'll be ready. And that came across very well when we was watching it. The crowd's laughing, and Sinner there was smiling as well. The camera panned to him. Alcaraz, I think that he's going to want some revenge for this loss. As much as he's just got the year-end number one, it was quite it's a loss, but it's not a crushing loss for me. But he's going to want revenge because the level he was playing in the match prior against Felix, I mean, how can you then do that the day before and then lose the next match?
I still think the level against Sinner was Brilliant.
He played. He don't think he could have done much wrong. He said, "Hopefully, I'll play more finals against you. Well deserved year, well deserved trophy." I mean, they're going to be playing so many more finals together. Yeah. Alcaraz will win plenty, I'm sure, and so will Jannik Sinner. I think the question we need to be asking is, can anyone else?
Yeah,
it doesn't look like it at the moment. Of course, this is a bit of recency bias. Anyone can come from anywhere. Just look what Felix did this last 2 months. He was 28 in the world. Now he's finished, I think, 5th or 6th.
Exactly, and it's all a mental game. Like Gil Gross says, the most impressive part of that for Sinner was mental. There was so much pressure on him here. He was defending his turf, conditions, country. The importance for him to get a head-to-head win over Alcaraz, that's a huge. Yeah, we didn't really speak about that. Obviously, it's quite lopsided before, so at 10-5, now 10-6. A lot of anxiety. And he handled it beautifully. Yeah. He just seems to be a cool head, especially even when he's down in a set, like that second set, down a break, never panics. And by the end of the set, you fancy him to win it. It's crazy.
Yeah, it only took a few errors, didn't it, for Carlos, and Sinner was there just to apply the pressure when it mattered. But there we go. That is some of our thoughts from the big match to finish the year. We're going to be doing some more videos this week. We're going to be at the Davis Cup as well, reporting on it, so stay tuned on the channel. And I think we'll speak about the top 10 as a whole because it is finalised now, and we have the final top 10 with a few movers. One thing we know for sure, Alcaraz will finish year-end #1, over 12,000 points. Jannik Sinner winning the big title to end the year. And we're going to have some time off now from tennis until the big one in Australia. There'll be a few other matches, tournaments before, but really we're heading towards that one. And maybe Ben's going to do a few videos on Sabalenka Kyrgios because he's a big fan of that style of tennis.
Well, we'll have our reactions to our last year's predictions as well. Don't forget, everybody wants to stay tuned for that because there's been some stinkers in there. I'll have to call out his ones. He'll call out my ones. And we'll see who did the best.
Talking of stinkers, who's going to win, Kyrgios or Sabalenka?
Definitely not the paying public.
Anyway. Are you not excited for it?
No, not really. Not going to lie. Anyway.
Let's see what happens. Anyway, if you haven't already, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and Forza Jannik Sinner. Let's go.